Hey, I'm Jenny Bradley, the founder of Triangle Smart Divorce.
I'm Katie Kober, one of the attorneys at Triangle Smart Divorce.
And Katie and I are going to talk today about crypto and Bitcoin and other digital assets in divorce. So Katie, I think it kind of, for a lot of people, crypto is mystifying, confusing, and really it's not any different than any other asset in a divorce, is it?
No, I think we treat it the same way as any other asset when we're dividing it, valuing it, finding it.
It's a lot harder to find though.
Correct. It can be very difficult, sometimes feels impossible to find crypto.
And the reason for that, I think, is because we're very used to investment accounts, we're very used to banking accounts, we're used to following the money, if you will. But people are buying crypto in different ways. So we're not like the old days when there's cash in the mattress or in the drawer or in the safe, but it's almost harder to find than that cash, because with cash you can see the withdrawal in the bank account, right?
Right, yeah. I think also crypto, an extra layer of difficulties, even when we find it, then getting the statements. Those are not always easy to decipher, to figure out how much money's been put in, what has actually been bought, what the actual asset is.
And how to divide it.
Correct.
That's tricky too, because if one spouse has a crypto account and the other spouse doesn't, what do? You have to cash it in and get cash out. And we know that crypto goes like this all day long.
Right.
Very much unlike the stock market, which can go up and down, but not wide swings over a month-long period, usually.
Yeah.
Now, this economy's been weird lately, but crypto is a lot more volatile. So how do you deal with that in cases you've been handling when you have a very volatile asset like that?
I think with crypto, we found that a lot of the clients are very confused about it. In some cases, the clients think it's worth, to your point, millions of dollars because they heard that so-and-so down the street bought crypto and made all of this money. And then others think it's a pointless asset because then they've heard about the other neighbor, right, where it's just plummeted and crashed. For the most part, I think people have tried just to offset it for what they believe to be the value is, which obviously would not work in court at all. We would have to determine an actual value. But at the end of the day, we're still treating it like any other asset. So if the crypto's worth X, Y, and Z on the date of separation, then we're finding what it's worth on the date of distribution, and either finding another asset to offset it or selling it.
And selling it comes with some tax consequences that cash in the bank doesn't come with.
Right.
So sometimes crypto is held very shortly, and it will have short-term gains with it, which are much higher tax rates usually than long-term gains.
Right.
And so do you find in your cases people hold crypto as an investment for a long time? Like we've seen people hold stock in tech companies and oil and gas companies, or are they moving it and flipping it and trading it and doing all kinds of stuff?
I think just with my experience with clients is that everyone who's done a lot of money in crypto, they've thought it was going to be a get-rich-quick scheme. I do not have one case in where that has panned out. They've, at this point,
not one single case
where it's worked out well for them. They've ended up spending more money, and that could be them trying to deal with it themselves. But
these are like the old school day traders of when you first started practicing law, right?
100%.
Everyone sat at home in front of their computer, monitoring it all day long, trading, selling, doing this, doing that. Thought they were going to just make a quick buck.
Yeah,
and it didn't work out for a lot of those day traders either.
No, yeah. That's been my experience with clients so far. I'm sure there are some people that have struck it rich.
And then people are putting money in new digital assets as there's coming out, and those have not held value as much as things like Bitcoin have.
Right.
Right? Seems like not every, but a lot of famous people or influential type people have tried to create a digital asset.
Their own, yeah.
Right?
Right.
And tried to get a following to buy their own, and they haven't done as well as
they'd hoped.
They hoped.
And certainly not as they sold to the public that it would do.
That's right. That's right. So how do you go about finding it?
I think the most basic ways, right, is we do the initial disclosures. They should disclose that as an asset.
And when they don't.
And when they don't, then we do the discovery process.
Which for those people who aren't lawyers, is asking a bunch of questions. And when the person still doesn't honestly answer those questions, but your client insists they know there's crypto, what do you do?
I mean, at that point, I think we either we look at past tax records, see if there's been any filings, associated with the gains. I mean, we could do a forensic accountant. It's difficult in sending out subpoenas like we would with a traditional financial institution, because if someone just comes in and says, he's got crypto, okay.
Where do we go look for that?
We can't just send a subpoena to crypto.
Right. Every particular company that has digital assets has their own rules, they may not even be incorporated in the state for us to be able to serve a subpoena on them, because in North Carolina, we only have subpoena power over North Carolina companies or people with a presence in the state who are registered here. Mm-hmm. So makes it a lot more difficult. If the spouse suspects that there's crypto and comes to you in an initial consult and says something like that, what is your advice to them to go find out more about it? I mean, I know you say go find out more about it, but what specific steps could somebody take?
I mean, I think the most direct step would be just ask your spouse, like, do we have crypto? Where did you buy it? Who is the financial institution servicing it, if there is one? I mean, that's going to be the best source of information. Or I guess you could go digging through your spouse's office looking for statements.
Well, and at the end of the day, there's still got to be a trail, right? Like whether it's through PayPal, whether it's through a wallet somebody has on their phone. You can't walk to any institution with cash and say, I want to buy Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. But that's assuming, I mean, if your spouse already isn't being honest about purchasing crypto, then there might be other accounts that they're not being honest about. But yeah, I mean, combing through is something that we would tell people to do for any asset, not just crypto.
Okay. So any parting words for the crypto owner who may want to be hiding these assets because they think their spouse doesn't know about them and will never find out about them? As a lawyer, what do you tell that person when they say, she doesn't know about this and I don't want to share it with her?
Well, I mean, I guess you're not obligated to share it with her until you are. So once we're in active litigation, right, you're going to have to be honest on your discovery responses. But otherwise, I suppose just keep quiet and see if she asks the right questions.
Well, and then be careful, because even if you're staying out of court, a lot of agreements that people enter into dividing their assets have what I would call disclosure clauses in them.
Yeah.
That say, if later in life I found out that you didn't disclose an asset, the penalty is forfeiture. And
Right.
the minimum most people negotiate for is usually 50%. I've seen them go all the way up to 100% of the asset.
Yeah. Yeah, because they want that clause to kind of be punitive, right?
Right. So you might be able to get away with it, but it might bite you really big in the end. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's all we have to say about crypto.